Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who related video. In today's Doctor Who related video we are tier listing the new series finales, as this time of year we'd normally be getting round to the end of a Russell T Davies series, and you know, since we're on the cusp of RTD2, what better way to look back at some of the new series finales. Now this day in particular, the day this video goes out, is the 17-year anniversary of Doomsday, which makes me feel incredibly old. And of course this week also saw the 15-year anniversary of Journey's End, which me and Luke have done a big hour-long review on, discussing it and sort of giving our memories of it from the time. So check that out, a link in the description below to that. So I thought let's do a little celebration video of the new series finales and figure out what is the best of the new series finale. So without further ado, let's begin this tier list. So here we have the tier list, the new series finale. So we've got a few little bonus ones in here. We've got the sort of mid-series 6 finale, Good Man Goes to War, and we've got the series 7 part A finale, Angels Take Manhattan. So this tier list is by Bowtie Animation, or as we may know, Harry Draper, who wrote The Last Day at Work, A Big Finish Short Trip, which is a wonderful little short trip, an all-round lovely guy. So the tier lists are: the best story ever told, absolutely fantastic, and you know what, so was I. Great, good, middling, not good, oh dear, and active, dislike. We'll see if anything goes in there. We shall see. I'm going to do it in this order. I know it's not chronological, but I think it's just a bit more interesting just to bounce all over the place and make it a little bit more spicy, a little bit more interesting. But since it's Doomsday's anniversary, we'll cover it first. So, Army of Ghosts and Doomsday, what do I think of it? Well, as a kid, it's kind of, I think that's the thing with the Russell T Davies sort of finales, especially this and Stolen Earth and sort of Parting of the Ways in a way. It has a toy box feel to it. You know, but you've got your Cybermen and Dalek figures, and it's that sort of mentality. And you know, it's a story we've all wanted to see for a long time. It's been on the cards, you know, ever since sort of the Wheel in Space. It should have happened instead of the Wheel in Space. Sorry, Wheel in Space. I think that would be very interesting to have seen that story. But I think there is a bias there. I think obviously Russell favours the Daleks over the Cybermen, so there is a bias there. But as a kid, I didn't really think that the Daleks were going to be in it, even though there is a lot of signposting that the Daleks are going to be there, like the actual sphere itself. I was just going off kid logic. Well, the Daleks had the finale last year, it's going to be a Cybermen two-parter this year, and I think the idea of the ghosts are really great, and the build-up to the Cybermen are fantastic. And I think the Cybermen do get some cool moments despite being a little bit rubbish in it. We've got the great action sequences on the bridge, and there is this fear factor of the Cybermen actually bursting into people's homes, and that's scary as a kid because you think you're in your house, you've got to be safe from all these monsters. No, the monsters are coming to you now, which is incredibly scary for a kid. But yeah, you've got the classic Russell T Davies sort of foreboding, foreshadowing of Rose's demise, which is done brilliantly. You know, it just shows how well, you know, David and Billie Piper's chemistry is, and just, you know, it's memorable for all the right reasons, and it's just got a lot of heart to it, and you know, a real fun one. So I'm going to put it in great, because it's solid. So we've got Angels Take Manhattan next, the Farewell to the Ponds. Now I'm going to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this one. This is one I sort of struggle with. It's not my least favourite of Series 7 Part A. I think that's Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. But I think that there's a lot of... I think with Doctor Who you do have to sort of... don't apply logic to it. But I kind of struggle with this one to try and defend it with the Statue of Liberty, Weeping Angel. You know, I think the cherubs are cool. I think the idea of the storybook element of it's great. And the final goodbye is tremendous with the park bench sort of thing. But other than that, I find it not that good. It's a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 for me. I mean, I don't know if that's a bit of a hot take, but I'm not too much of a fan of it. Now this is where I might get a bit more spicy. we have Dark Water and Death in Heaven, which I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Series 8, but I don't mind it. I guess I'm a bit of a Moffat apologist. Looking at Angels Take Manhattan, you probably don't think it. But I actually quite like Dark Water and Death in Heaven. I think that Dark Water's such a nice... It's the last sort of breath of Capaldi's vision of Doctor Who, with that sort of more darker, grungy tone to it. With like the Don't Cremate Me and the Afterlife, that's all, you know, very spooky, and, you know, it got a fair few complaints. I think that this story has some great sort of classic iconography to it. Obviously, Cybermen walking down St. Paul's Cathedral, but you've also got sort of the Cybermen sort of bursting out of, you know, using, you know, graves, and Cybermen bursting out of graves, which I think is just very classic here. You can imagine that being done, and I think that's just visually striking. I think the Cybermen don't fare too well within this, but we'll talk about a really good Cyberman finale soon. But yeah, overall, I enjoy it. I think that it's good. I feel like people are going to be booing me at that, but I really did enjoy it. I like the tone of it, have a good time with it, and just what strikes me is just Capaldi falling from the aeroplane towards the TARDIS. It's just action, and I love it. It's daft, and it's Doctor Who. It's brilliant. So we have The Vanquishers, the finale for Flux. Now, I really enjoyed Flux, but I think that it's a bit of a weird one. I think with The Vanquishers, it uses all the wrong ideas. All the interesting ideas get sidelined, like the Doctor's memories, and it's such a shame that Swarm and Azure get sidelined within this, because they've been such a big part of Flux, and they just they're a non-entity within this, which is a shame. There's a great moment between 13 and Azure about their sort of moral ideas, that, you know, the 13th Doctor's all about sort of fixing things, where Azure's like, well, why can't we break things and just leave it as it is? And I think that this story probably doesn't fare too well overall, because it kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth, going, well, the fob watch never really got resolved, and sort of the whole timeless children thing, which I think if you're gonna do it, and the story played to that with sort of the black and white house, and it's starting to be erased, and yeah. But it sort of chose the Sontarans trying to be an A-tier monster, and trying to wipe out the Daleks and Cybermen war. You know, because I enjoyed Flux, but I think that this, it just uses the wrong ideas, so I'm going to put middling for that, because I don't think it's bad. I just think that it just chose the wrong ideas. Then we have A Good Man Goes to War, the Series 6 finale, showing all the scale. And I think that, you know, the 11th Doctor, I think a lot of people don't really think about 11th Doctor as this, but he's quite a dark Doctor and quite manipulative. Arguably could be darker than the 7th Doctor, and I think that this story really shows that nature, that if you go and hurt his friends, he's going to come back with vengeance. And I really like the idea of the Doctor sort of calling in on his debts, on people who have debts for the Doctor, and, you know, raising armies and all that, and sort of the Colonel runaway scene. You can see that sort of the lonely god and fury there. But yeah, as the revelation for River, I guess you all saw coming, but I guess it was nice to finally get that sort of closure to it, so I'm gonna put it in good. I enjoyed it. Oh, Hellbent. What do I think of Hellbent? Everybody loves Heaven Sent, but everyone dislikes Hellbent. But I really like Hellbent. I feel like guns are being raised. I really like Hellbent personally. I think that the syndrome of some of the Moffat finales is, if they weren't finales and they were in a different placement in the series, they'd probably go down a lot better. I think because this story in particular has so much weight behind it, because we've been waiting 10 years for the Doctor to go back on Gallifrey, and it kind of pushes that aside and goes, hey, here's Clara. You know, we've had the ending for Clara, but we bring her back. But I think just those first 20 minutes alone is tremendous, with just Capaldi literally saying nothing on Gallifrey, and him just expressing so many emotions just with those eyebrows. You know, I think it's just brilliant. The idea of the cloisters is wonderful, and you know, having the classic TARDIS, Aaron Capaldi being a very classic Doctor being in it. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I can't describe why I enjoy it. It's just a lot of fun. I think it's a lot of fun, and you know, that's what you want. It's got a great sort of scale to it. Whether we get the closure of what the actual series arc was with the hybrid, that's up to interpretation. But I really like Hellbent, so I'm going to put it in great. Shoot me, kill me. I like it. Moving on, we have the Battle of Ranskoor of Coldslaw. Yeah, this as a finale, again, it kind of has that sort of maybe Moffat thing where if it was in a different part of the series it would be better, but again, it's amazing that this is the first draft of the script and it got made, and I think it's got some callbacks like Pirate Planet and all that, but the Stenza, Tim Shaw, yeah, it would have been interesting if we had a bit more of a dynamic between the Doctor and Graham there, because obviously Graham's got a history with Tim Shaw, but I'm gonna be honest, it's I really, I don't, where does it go? Because like it's average, and I think that's the worst sort of offence for a Doctor Who story, isn't it? But it doesn't belong in good and it doesn't belong in bad. It's just there, and does it go there? No, I'll put it in. Yeah, put it there for now. Put it there. So yeah, moving on to a more positive one. We have Stolen Earth Journey's End, which it's a time capsule. It's a time capsule of what Doctor Who is to my generation of fans. It's a story that can only be done once and never again. It's such a marriage of all the sort of Russell T Davies world. It's you know, a Marvel cinematic thing. It's, you know, Infinity War and all that coming together before that was a thing, and it's tremendous. You know, Stolen Earth is just so brilliant. It's bombastic. The direction by Graham Hart is brilliant. It's got a classic sort of style reveal of Davros that you get bit by bit, and then you get Davros. Wilf, this is probably one of Wilf's, is it Wilf's best story? The End of Time is really good. But I think Stolen Earth, Wilf is the star of it, you know, with the little lines of the paintball gun, and the sort of the webcam sort of stuff. It's brilliant, and you know, I bet my pension on it that it's aliens. It's just got so many wonderful moments, and I think that the story, with the Doctor not being in Stolen Earth that much, you don't really miss him because it's just bouncing over all these familiar characters. Elizabeth Sladen is wonderful within it, especially when we get the reunion of her and Davros. You know, it plays nicely into Genesis for Daleks as well, which is tremendous. I think Davros' plan doesn't make a lot of sense, but it makes me feel like I'm 10 years old again. And you know, Doctor Who is a time travel show. You know, it bounces all over time, but you get transported watching this, and I just get that same buzz. One of the best cliffhangers in the show, yeah, and the whole sort of Dr. Donna, whether it ruins Donna's agency as a companion, you know, it kind of does, but I think that we've got the specials coming up soon, so maybe that'll be rectified. But yeah, the Daleks are in full force. Every character, maybe it's got too many characters on the board to play with, like Rose I think gets sidelined a little bit within it, but I think that it rounds off sort of Russell's sort of bombastic sort of style brilliantly, and just that moment of them all flying the TARDIS, and you just think, yeah, that's, you know, Doctor Who at its peak for a certain generation of fans. So I think that it's absolutely fantastic, and you know what, so was I. Then we have Russell's finale well, we've just spoke about a Russell finale, what am I saying? We have Sound of Drums and Last of the Time Lords. The series 3 finale, which, It's good. I really like Sound of Drums. I like the idea of sort of the Doctor and companions sort of being fugitives and sort of on the run. I really like that. But the Master sort of firmly established himself within it. And just the idea of a Toclafane killing sort of 1/3 of the population. It's quite dark and bleak. John Simm's Master's pretty good within this, but I think that he's better in Series 10, which we're getting close to now. We're getting close to speaking about that. But I think the whole sort of age 10th Doctor, yeah, it's a good story for Martha, because I think Martha's arc is really well of her trying to find independence and sort of life, sort of after the Doctor in a way, sort of that adjustment and getting ready to say goodbye, and finding a place in the world really. But yeah, I think that this is the worst offender of the Russell Deus Ex Machina, where just everything's reversed, and I think that that's a real shame that only Martha's family gets to remember all that, and that's quite horrible really, and I think that it's just a bit of a shame. So I think that again, it's good. I just think Last of the Time Lords lets it down a bit really. Now we have the Pandorica opens and the Big Bang. I'm just gotta pop it straight into the top tier right now because I love it. I think that this is just so Moffat, exploring, you know, it's timey-wimey, the universe is ending, you know, the cliffhanger alone is just brilliant with the 11th Doctor being dragged towards the Pandorica, Amy dying. What a gut punch of a moment. It was just bam bam bam, tremendous, and it's just a lovely callback to Series 5, and Series 5 is one of my favourite new series, and I think that it just encapsulates the wonderful fairy tale nature of Series 5 tremendously, with all the callbacks to Vincent and sort of World War II, List 10. Yeah, it's just brilliant, and the sort of has one of the defining moments of the 11th Doctor. It's one of the moments where you think, yes, the 11th Doctor is a doctor of words and wit, and that's how he will, you know, get rid of these. And so many interesting callbacks of like pteroleptals and Dravins. It's wonderful stuff. And the Pandorica being this great big puzzle box mystery, tremendous. I just love it. And the Big Bang, you know, it's timey-wimey, a lot of fun, and it gave us the drunk giraffe. So I think that automatically puts it in the top spot. Another top spot story is Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways. I think that this was my first new series finale, and I've just got such an attachment to Series 1 because it was the first series I watched and I adore it so much. And I think that it might seem a bit dated with sort of the reality TV shows it's going for, but I think that even now you get the gist of what it's going for, and just the slow reveal of the Daleks is brilliant. The Daleks have never looked better. Series 1 is when the bronze Daleks looked at their best. They look grungy and dark. There's so many dark moments, like Linda with the wise death, and just sort of the confrontation between the Doctor and the Dalek Emperor. And it has the best regeneration scene ever, I feel, because as somebody who got so attached to Christopher Eccleston's 9th Doctor, saying goodbye to him wasn't easy because, you know, you're not really aware of regeneration. I wasn't. Like you knew there were other Doctors, but to see it happen, it was such a shock. And there's something very beautiful about Christopher Eccleston's regeneration because he goes out with a smile, because I think ever since then the Doctor's regeneration have been quite doom-ridden, but I'm gonna die. This is the end, you know, it's sad. Be sad, feel things. Whereas there's hope and optimism with the 9th Doctor regeneration, because he was a broken man at the start of the series, and, you know, throughout Series 1 we see him change and get better and be healed by Rose. And, you know, there's a lovely sort of vice versa with this, where Rose, you know, needs healing and he needs to be the Doctor and heals her, and that's ultimately, you know, does him in. It's just beautiful. I think the Daleks are so wonderful within it. You know, the idea of it's a bit Revelation of the Daleks. It's taking like the gruesome element of that with sort of using humans from the game shows and making them Daleks. It's very, very grim, and I think that it's just one of the best and possibly my favourite 9th Doctor story. It's just tremendous. So we have World Enough in Time and the Doctor Falls. Again, a brilliant. It's interesting, but we've pretty much got the three strong ones for me. I think I've spoiled where this is going. This is going top tier. I love this one. I'm a huge fan of Series 10. Series 10 is such... It's such an interesting sort of reboot, isn't it? And this is what a wonderful finale. The Sidemen get one of the best moments, best finales in it. It's tremendous. I think that the patient Sidemen are creepy. It plays with the body horror concept, and it's, you know, Peter Capaldi got his wish. This is the story he wanted. He wanted the Mondasian Cybermen, and he got them, and they work tremendously within this. And you just reminded by how scary they are. Having John Sim back as Razor as well. I love Razor. He's a lovely little fun, quirky character within this sort of bleak situation. The time dilation is a really interesting idea. The whole spaceship that it really plays with the concept of Cybermen that, you know, you can run, you can keep running, but they'll constantly be after you. They're slow, but they'll always be right behind you. And you know that nobody on that spaceship's gonna survive what's going on. And, you know, it just... I think Moffat just gets the Doctor as a character, and I think that him and Peter Capaldi together is just a dream team, because this is just such of the Doctor. You get the values of the character, what the character stands for, you know, that it's small victories and he'll take that, you know, and I think that it is just beautiful, and it's just a great ending for the Master and Mrs. character. And Bill, lovely Bill, I love Bill. Yeah, every time I watch, you know, 12, Bill and Nardole, I'm like, I wish we had more of you. I wish we had more of you, because they're just such a wonderful, wonderful TARDIS team, and it's just heartbreaking what happens to Bill, because Bill is just that bundle of joy, and to see her basically get ripped into a million pieces and through a mincemeat and become a Cyberman, you know, it's obviously people might have a problem with her sort of going against the conversion thing, but it's been set up that, you know, she can resist that with like the monk thing. But yeah, really good finale, tremendous, love it. Then we have the name of the Doctor, which I'm gonna be honest, I'm struggling to remember. I think that there's some good moments, like the Whispermen. I really like the idea of sort of Transalor's cool. Richard D. Grant's good, but sort of wasted within it. Matt Smith gives a stellar performance as ever. I think, again, really good finale, really good little moment, ending moment. But I think again, this falls under the category of, if it was it doesn't feel like a series finale. It's a nice sort of roundup to go, we're getting into the 50th now with all the callbacks to the classic Doctors, and, you know, it pretty much solves the mystery of who Clara is within like the first 2 minutes. And it's really nice having all those sort of callbacks to classic Who. But I'm gonna put it in middling, I think. Yeah, I'll be honest, I've not watched it in a long time, so I may need to rewatch it, and it may go up the list, it may go down. But yeah, I can't really remember much about it, I'll be honest. Next we have Ascension of the Cybermen and the Timeless Children. Now, I like Ascension of the Cybermen, I think that it's great, but Timeless Children, it's just a bit of a shame for Jodie that she's not proactive within it. She's just locked up, and it's just becomes a bit of it's just an exposition episode, isn't it? It's just like, here's a history of you, Doctor, and Tecteun, and yeah, I think that's the real sort of shame of it, really, that the Doctor doesn't have an active role within it. And I think the Timeless Children as a concept, it's fine. We're not going to do any more with it. It will just be brushed aside, and it will be much like the 8th Doctor Half Human, like, we'll just forget about it and go, wasn't that weird? But yeah, it's so interesting, sort of Chibnall's journey, where Series 11, fresh, we're not having any callbacks, and then we have sort of Series 12 where we're going to bring up a plot point from The Brain of Morbius in 1976, So yeah, you're really gonna sort of alienate your sort of Joe public. I think the Doctor breaking out the Matrix is cool just because of that cool remix of the Doctor theme. But yeah, I think that it's a bit, yeah, it's just a bit of a shame. Just a bit of a shame that the Doctor loses that agency. Now we have the wedding of River Song. What do I think of this? What do I think of this? Well, I'm a Moffat apologist. I don't mind it. I don't think it's a bad. I think that this is one where, again, much like Hellbent, if it wasn't a finale, people would probably be a bit more kinder to it. I've watched this a fair few times and I really do enjoy it. I think that there's some great visuals within it, and how it sort of calls back to sort of series 6 with like the lake and that whole mystery, but it being a Tesselector. Yeah, really fun stuff. Not watched it in a couple of years, but I had a good time with it, and I really don't mind it. So I'm gonna put it in good, because I think the silents are great within it, what sequences they get within it, and yeah, it just rounds off series 6. Yeah, and that's all you can really say. So that is the new series finales tier list. So we've got the 3 god tier ones there. We've got the Parting of the Ways, Pandorica Opens, Big Bang, World of Time and Doctor Falls. Then the second tier we have Stolen Earth, Journey's End. Then in great we have Army of Ghosts and Doomsday and Hellbent. And in good we have Dark Water and Death in Heaven, Good Man Goes to War, Last of a Time, The Sound of Drums, Last of a Time Lord, Wedding of River Song. In middling we have The Vanquishers and The Name of the Doctor. In not good we have Angels Take Manhattan. And in oh dear we have The Ascension of Cybermen and Timeless Children. And active dislike we have The Battle of Ranskoor of Coleslaw. So yeah, that has been my tier list. Let me know your favourite and your least favourite new series finale. I'd be very interested to know. So if you've enjoyed this video, then please do like and subscribe, because it really does help the channel out. And there's plenty more Doctor Who content coming up in the near future. So I'll see you next time for more Doctor Who shenanigans. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.